Eagles Prime Time with Mike North live on Channel 62 from Edison Park, Pasta. And this gentleman here, outstanding defenseman, a longtime Blackhawk, Stanley Cup winner, Norris Trophy winner. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday. Not only that, he's just a great guy, does a lot for charities in this town. It's been a rough year for him, not only for him, but for the rest of the club. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Chelios. Oh, you got a full house here today, buddy. My God. Wow. Sit down. You know, that's the thing I like about hockey players. You know what? Every other guy we've had on the show is fine. We had Doug Gilmour on. He had the black guy who looked like Petey from Little Rascals. You have the nose. But you know what? Oddly enough, Probert was on with us here. Not a scratch on him. You know what I mean?
That's why he's the toughest in the league, I guess.
Now, you got, you know what, the nose can't afford. You can't afford to get hit too many more times in the nose. It's growing in front of our very eyes. I mean, come on, Chelly. I mean, they call you the Hawk, right?
Yeah, look it from the side. Look at that.
I'm telling you. Now, your own teammate did that to you, right?
Yeah, it was an accident. Brian Muir was trying to hold up Keith Kachuk, and I guess Keith hit his stick up, and it come up and cracked me in the nose. So.
Now, when your own teammate does it, first of all, you're mad enough that an opposing player does it to you. But when your own teammate does it, are you madder, or what did you say to the guy?
I actually feel pretty bad for Brian, because all he does is keeps walking around the room looking at me and grimacing like, does it hurt, and I'm sorry, and I think he's going to buy me dinner for the rest of the year on the road. So
now, did you think that somebody on the other team did it?
I thought for sure Kachuk did it, so I would have probably come up swinging at his nose right next shift, but... But no, I mean, I came back on the ice after getting stitched up, and Kachuk made it a point to come up to me and tell me that he didn't do it. And when I was getting stitched up, a few of the guys that weren't playing told me it was Brian's stick that came up and hit me. So. Well,
you know what? It has been, not only with your nose, it's been a rough year for this hockey club. And it's got to be frustrating to you. You signed a pretty good deal with the Blackhawks. I mean, do you guys think you got a shot? I mean, you were within playoff you know, seeding distance. You were 4 points out. Now you're like 9 or 10 points out. I mean, and you didn't play. You lost ground. Right. I mean, how do you feel about the rest of the season?
Well, it changes quick, and realistically, now we're going to have to play above 500 and get really hot for the second half in order to catch teams like San Jose and the teams that are ahead of us. You know, it just shows how important all the games are. We're 4 points out of it. We're right in the ball game there, and to lose back-to-back to Colorado, which we played pretty well, but still the bottom line is you have to win, and we didn't. And then you know, the past two games, at least we put together a little bit of a string, beating, I think it was Nashville. No, I'm not sure it was Nashville.
The Colorado game was the tough one.
Those back-to-back games hurt us. Losing that game in overtime and then going out to Colorado and maybe playing 2 periods and then pretty much losing it in the last third period there. But, you know, we still got to keep going at this. We've got a lot of talent in our team. It's just a matter of putting it together.
You know, Paul Coffey, you know, I read what happened to him, and I thought I was reading what happened to you the year before. When you got the bad shot, remember? They gave you a shot in your groin or wherever, and it was in the wrong spot. Paul Coffey was misdiagnosed. Now, who are the doctors on the Chicago Blackhawks? I mean, who is diagnosing these guys?
Well, I got to be honest with you. We signed a piece of paper about 3 weeks ago saying that we're not allowed to talk about the doctors, so I better not do it. Yeah. But no, seriously,
because Paul Coffey said he was not bitter about it, but he was upset. He's been walking around with a different ailment than what the doctor diagnosed.
I got to be honest with you. Now that Paul's not in the team, I could jap him, but he must have seen 3, 4, 5, maybe specialists all over California, everywhere, and he doesn't really know what was wrong with him. His problems are stemming from bad back, and you know, if you hit a nerve when you're getting an injection, you're going to feel it and you're going to jump through the roof. And I just think he was frustrated. He came out and said something he probably shouldn't have, because our staff right now, I think, is got to be one of the best staffs in all the league. But
is the guy that gave you the wrong injection, is he still on the staff? That's all I want to know.
No, he's not.
So it is one of the better in the league.
No. And I got to be honest with you, for him, if he wouldn't have been able to shoot me up, I wouldn't have been able to play. It's just, it was a hit or miss thing, and obviously we missed and it lasted too long. But, you know, you can't blame it on the doctors. Injuries, and especially when you're dealing with nerves and tendons, it's pretty tough to freeze that type of stuff.
I got this for my birthday, and at first I said, you know what? Why am I, you know, I'm not big on hockey like I used to be. I still, you know, like the game. But then I started looking through some of the pictures, and then I get to this page here, page 108. It's called the Top 100 NHL Players of All Time. And I don't know, who'd you know? Chris Chelios, the 40th top player of all time, as voted by Sporting News. Now, I got to read some quotes here from some players who have gone against you, okay? He's just a lousy person, longtime foe Brian Propp once said. He never goes after any tough guys. He just goes after guys who don't fight when no one else who will fight is on the ice. Comment.
Sounds like he's scared.
Okay. Another one. Obviously, he's got good skills. Then Brew and Randy Bird said of Chelios, but he'll backstab you anytime he gets the chance. I mean, it's in the book.
Well, it must be true, right?
Okay.
Sounds like a bunch of crybabies. I mean, a lot of things go on the ice you don't see, and
jealousy, maybe?
I don't know about that. I think that when we played Montreal and Boston, that's with Burge and Philadelphia in the playoffs. There's such a big rivalry, and you get to hate people. And I mean, I wouldn't go in the same room as these guys if we were in a restaurant together. That's just how it was back then. There was no trades. You were with the same players all the time, and you were like a big family. Now there's so many trades, and you got friends in other teams. It's a little bit different. But I hated these guys, and they hated me.
A lot of people fight for the puck. Chris plays like he's fighting for his life. That's from Bill Clement. And you have to know him. Telling Chris Chelios he can't play hockey is like cutting off his arm. Nobody wants to play more than him. That drive sometimes gets the better of Chris, but he's great. Luke Robitaille. So you'll get in the same room with those two guys.
Yeah, Luke,
right?
now I will, yeah.
Yeah, you'll hang out with them. Now, when a guy breaks his jaw in hockey, I remember when Bobby Hull broke his jaw, he was out playing the next day. You got your nose screwed up. You were out playing that same game. What is it about hockey players? Well, I believe like if Eric Kramer would have had that happen to his nose, he would have been out for 3 weeks. I mean, what is it about hockey players where, boom, they're right out there the very next... Now, when did you get hurt? In the first period?
Second period.
And you were back when?
As soon as I got stitched up for the beginning of the third.
Now, it's very easy. Wouldn't it be easy for anybody to say, you know what, my nose is screwed up, I want to get x-rays and everything, like every other athlete does in every other sport? Why do you guys come right back out?
Well, that's the old mentality, I guess. I started 15 years ago, and guys, I mean, right now you hear about guys having concussions. Everybody must have had concussions back when I played because it was all headshots and elbows, and it's just the mentality of the players now. They're so worried about their health and lasting longer. And the guys in my era, guys like, look at guys like Bob Gainey, Larry Robinson, they played through a lot of pain. That's just the way it was back then. But there's a lot of guys limping around too from that era too. So, but it's just the way the mentality of the players and the young kids. Plus the doctors are a lot more careful now. There's so many more concussions. The guys are bigger and faster, and there just seems to be more injuries. You
know what? I mean, let's talk foreigners, okay? I can't stand when they're on the expressway. They don't know how to drive. It snows. I mean, a month ago they were in Pakistan. Now they're driving a cab. I mean, in the snow. Foreigners, I think, we have a problem with foreigners in this country. They don't know how to act. And I'm going to ask you, foreigners in hockey, do you think it's ruined the game?
I got to be careful here. My dad's from Greece, so...
Oh, no, you know what I'm saying. No, I'm talking about guys with 55 syllables to their name.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't think the kids can relate to the Europeans as much as they could to the North American players. It's tough. You got guys that come over for 2-3 years, and obviously they're over here just to make money and to play in the best league in the world to see if they can make it. But they limit us over there to 2 or 3 players to a team, and I wish we'd have done that. I think it's too late now because I guess it'd be discriminating.
So in other words, if you want to go over there and you want to play for a certain team, they go, well, wait a minute, you're an American, right? Well, we're only allowed 3 guys from America or Canada.
Right.
But here they can come in droves, right?
As many as they want. I think part of the reasoning is that because they're cheaper. You don't have to pay anybody. You pay junior teams here in North America. The teams, the Chicago would have to pay the junior teams a certain amount of money. Getting players from Europe is a lot cheaper, and the owners are probably all for it.
Because it seems like the kids now, or the people now, can't get close to these guys. They don't speak the language, stuff like that, and that's a tough thing.
It's different, but it's going to change because I think in Europe they're starting to play a more North American style of brand of hockey, and they'll adjust to this. And more of them are speaking English. Before they weren't.
Is the NHL still the top league, or I remember when we'd go to the Olympics. Of course, we went with our amateurs, we get our brains beaten, you know what I mean, except for 1980. Is it still the top league? Or if you go somewhere, if you go to Sweden or Russia or somewhere else, are you going to run in to a buzzsaw?
No, I think there may be a handful of players over there that could play in the NHL, but you're seeing in the NHL the most talented players in the world. All the best Europeans are over here, and if they're not, they probably just don't like the style of hockey we play here, but it's changing with the bigger rinks and the new rules kind of protects the players, so they're adapting to it, and it's going to be a better league in the years to come, I think.
Here he is, Chris Chelios, who someday will be in the Hall of Fame. But I think that you want to go in on a high note. How many more years you got under contract with the Hawks?
This year and next year.
Okay. This week in the paper, I believe it was Steve Rosenblum writing a column saying that Chris Chelios had a handshake agreement with Bill Wirtz stating that if you could be traded, you'd be traded to a contender once the Hawks are out of it. Well, I think a lot of people, Chris, and I hate to tell you this, thought the Hawks were out of it before the season started. When did you shake hands, or what happened?
No, there's no truth to this, to the story at all.
You swore on your kids, right?
I swore on my 4 kids' heads, and I don't usually do that, but no, there's no truth to that. I think after the past couple weeks and teams, I guess, were interested in seeing if I was available. I know Philadelphia, for one. I don't know if Detroit, I'd never play there. I mean,
wait a minute.
Trade me. So.
You know what? This is good to hear, though, because it's good to hear an athlete for a change. Dick Butkus said this the other day. I don't understand why they all got to get together afterwards and say a prayer together. How can you really want to hurt somebody? It's a violent sport and everything else when you're saying your prayers with the other guy. And you're like an old-fashioned guy. You'd never play. If Detroit said, you're our last piece to get to the Stanley Cup, you still wouldn't go.
I'll tell them right now, and I'll announce it tomorrow again. I'd never play for Detroit. That's how much I hate them. So.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, if the Coyote call with Jeremy and Kachuk and those guys, and they have a very, very good team, would you?
See, I know what you're saying, but there's no ifs for me. With me, I don't have any desire to go anywhere. I haven't even thought about it. You know, I know the rumors that are going around now, but as long as Mr. Wirtz and the management's happy with the way that I'm playing and they want me to be a part of this organization, that's good enough for me. I want to be loyal to the fans, my teammates and management, and that's, I don't know how else to put it. I love Chicago. I feel fortunate to be able to play in my hometown. Things aren't going good, and it's eating me alive, but, I'm going to get through this.
You know what? I remember when you signed the deal. I was all over you because I thought you could have signed somewhere else for $5 million. You signed for what was reported then $3.5 million. I got all over you. I said, well, Chris Chelios is the class, and I told you this to your face. I didn't, pull some of the other stunts. I said I thought you were a company man because you signed with Bill Wirtz, and you could have gotten more out of him. But you gave me a pretty good explanation at the time.
I mean, if I'm called a company man, I don't mind being called a company man because I love my job and I love playing for the Blackhawks. And I'm a company man. I'm a player's guy. I think my teammates respect me. I respect them, and you can't ask for more than that. And I'm happy in Chicago. I've gotten so much support here. After being in Montreal, which wasn't the worst place in the world to play, it was a great place to play, but I feel like I'm the most fortunate guy in the world to be back in my hometown.
And you went
playing.
to Mount Carmel, right?
Mount Carmel, yeah, good South Side.
Yeah, you went to
Catholic
Wisconsin.
School,
so you're playing in your hometown.
I stayed as close as I could to Chicago, even by going to Wisconsin, just because my relatives and friends were here.
Now let's talk about your off-season home. Malibu, California. Mr. Tough Chicago guy. Mr. Bungalow Belt Chicago guy.
Yeah,
you live in Malibu. Now, is it true when you're in the store, like Olivia Newton-John, you say hi to her?
Yeah, Cher.
Cher, you see Cher. I mean, who do you run into out there?
Well, to be honest, we look a little out of place. We look like Southsiders from Chicago when we're there with all the rest of the people. We're still a little out of our element, but no, there's actually some guys from Chicago that have gone over. I mean, you mentioned Dick Butkus. He's 2 minutes away from me, and it's, I met him 3-4 years ago. We've become pretty close friends.
So you hang with him out there and stuff?
He takes me golfing, but he doesn't like the way I golf, so he's not a very pleasant guy with a golf.
Is he a pretty good golfer?
Yeah, he loves his golf, and ever since he got the knee replacement, he feels great, and I love hanging around him. He's one of the guys I grew up idolizing, and with Bobby Hall in hockey, and of course Dick Butkus. Every kid wanted to be Dick Butkus, but you look at guys like John Cusack, who's from Chicago. They're Northsiders, but that's okay.
Every kid wanted. Take it easy. Every kid wanted to be like Dick Butkus, and every kid wanted to be like Ernie Banks, and every kid wanted to be like Nellie Fox because you could watch him on TV.
Right.
This has been a problem with this hockey club, and I got to believe, since you grew up watching Hawks in Chicago, this is one thing that you disagree with Bill Wirtz on.
I'd love to see the games on TV. I'm never going to disagree with Mr. Wirtz because he owns the team, and obviously it'd be better for a kid's standpoint of view to be able to familiarize themselves with the players, but he's got his reasons, and it's his hockey team, and whatever he does.
It's his ball.
That's right.
But do you agree with it?
Well, I don't understand the reasons why. I mean, I'd have to sit down with Mr. Wirtz. Now, to be honest with you, I've never talked to him about it. For his reasons why not putting it on TV.
You play with this team all this time, and you get along with you. You've never walked up to him and said, look, it would be nice if we were on TV so we could help sell ourselves and the product and everything else.
I figure he's owned that team for 30, 40 years. He knows what he's doing.
See, this is where you sound like a company man, though.
Well,
I mean, come on. If
I'm
Chris
an employee. I mean, I'm not going to tell my boss how to run his team. I figure he knows what he's doing, and my job is to play hockey and worry about that. And I've got enough problems doing that right now, so
Well,
I don't need to add another one.
well, I don't know about the fact that he knows what he's doing. We're going to take a break. Hey, we're going to take a break. We're with Chris Chelios, Com Disco's Primetime with Mike North. Com Disco's Primetime with Mike North, live on Channel 62 from Bassa Pasa Medicine Park. Next week, we're going to be off. We're going to be at the Super Bowl, and we will have the best of Com Disco's Primetime. We're going to have all the previous shows on, clips from that, and guys including like Steve Dahl and Doug Gilmore, Bobby Probert, Jim McMahon, all the people, and Tim Floyd. I'll tell you what, you think the Hawks are having a tough time this year, folks? Wait till the Bulls open up. They couldn't win Margate Park right now, the team that they got together. You're a big basketball fan.
Yeah. Well, we had a pretty
George,
good
your buddy?
run. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a great run. I was lucky enough to come back and get traded when they started winning all the championships, so I'm not going to complain, I'll tell you that.
That's exactly. Hey, let's, real quick, because we didn't get to this, let's talk about your family, your wife, and how many kids you got?
4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, Dean, Jake, Kaylee, and Tara.
And what's your wife's name?
Tracy.
That's a beautiful thing. Now, how old are they now? Because I see them running around.
Yeah, 9, 7, 5, 3. So if I ask you...
Man, now, see, you're quick. You had it all down.
Well, we lose out in the playoffs early. You got nothing better to do is have kids, so... You know?
Hey, now, hey, you didn't make the All-Star team this year. Were you disappointed? And let me ask you something. What skills what have you lost as far as your hockey playing ability? You're 37. I mean, you're not a spring chicken anymore.
You know, I'd be the first one to admit if I felt that I was slipping a little bit. Offensively, obviously, the power play. I don't have maybe the ability to go coast to coast and take it and do it all myself like I did before, but the game's changed a lot, too. And I look around the defensemen, I compare myself to McGinnis, Stevens, guys that I've, Bork, and offensively I'm around the same points as them. Defensively, my job basically is to try and shut down the other team's top line, and I don't seem to have a problem doing that.
Too many minutes? Have you played too many minutes? I understand they can't get you off the ice. I mean, you'll play 40, 42 minutes. I mean, out of
no, it just depends how the game goes. If there's a lot of penalties, then it kind of wears on you. The other thing is if you get up 2 goals, it's great because maybe you get a chance to rest, but we're in a goal. Every game's a 1-goal difference. I mean, last year, same thing, so you're playing right down to the wire. So you don't get a chance to rest on this team, and it's just a dogfight right down for 60 minutes.
Well, Chris, you're a great guy. We hope
Thank you, Mike.
nothing but the best with your team this year with the Hawks. Chris Chelios,